Dear friends, hasn't it ever happened to you that you're losing a game of chess? And when I say losing, I mean you're down a piece. Your opponent is attacking you a lot. Well, in short, you realize that your opponent is in a much better position than you, you're having a hard time, and you think there are no options left to make a comeback, no options left to do anything. Well, today I'm going to show you that many times this isn't the case at all, and I'm going to prove it with a game by Zukertort. Do you know who Zukertort was? Well, if not, you can look him up yourselves. Come on, I'm giving you homework to do after this video. He played against Count Epurino, okay? The difference in skill level was huge. Zukertort was a much better player than, in this case, the Count with the black pieces. And to prove that he was much better, he did the following. He started playing without this knight on b1. He told the Count, I'm going to start playing without the knight, and you'll see that I'll still be able to beat you. Obviously, in this example, we'll see something spectacular because you don't see this every day, starting with a knight down and still winning the game. But above all, what we are going to take away is a lesson, a spectacular learning experience, because we will see how he does it in this case Zukertort, to win the game with a piece down, therefore creating a massive attack. Very well. The goal for white, obviously, is to reach positions where, logically, it's not a very closed position, right? Where things happen. And black wants, obviously, to lock things down as much as they can, and, if possible, trade pieces. And here, one of the main rules of chess applies. When you have a material advantage, in this case black, try to trade pieces. Why? Because you will reach an endgame with a material advantage. That is to say, an endgame that is logically winning for you. Very well. Black plays e6, nice and slow, knight f3. As you can see with, Zukertort has started with f4, an extremely aggressive opening. Perhaps not the most prudent of all, nor the sharpest if we both start with the same pieces, but obviously, being a knight down, is going to be an opening that poses certain problems for the black pieces. d5, b3, knight f6. As you can see, pay attention, huh? Bishop b2. The white pieces are already coordinating to launch an attack. Before continuing, I would tell you that I already noticed something. What Zukertort wants is to attack the Count's castling. And why does he want to attack the castling? Because notice that in this type of structure, where the black pieces are already expanded on the queen side, a structure, I won't deny it, that is super normal for black, where they're going to play knight c6, and you've surely seen this thousands of times. The thing is, it can reveal information to us. In this case, obviously, the king isn't going to castle long because it would be quite exposed, but rather it wants to castle short. And once castled short, since we already know the king will end up precisely on this g8 square, we can start to intuit with all our pieces, whether it's the bishop, the f4 pawn, which who knows if it might become a key player at some point, and also, of course, the knight that can jump toward the opponent's castle, right? This is what's called board vision. You're going to see that the attack Zukertort carries out is, compared to a pattern of, I don't know if you know it, but it's a very important pattern, which is the pattern, this one was really good. I had to pause the video to go look it up because I couldn't remember what it was called. The pattern is called the death corridor, right? All those prisoners who have been sentenced to the electric chair, right? They pass through death row. It's nothing more than some cells, right? If you don't know it, they are cells where all these prisoners are placed who subsequently, yes or no, well, logically are sentenced to the electric chair, right? So why is it called the death row? We're going to see it next. As I always say, the more patterns you know, well, your chess level is going to go up much more. How it's going to go up, friends, please pay attention to this because I have to explain it to you because today is a great day and I almost forgot. I wanted to tell you at the beginning, very important. I'll show it to you on screen so you can see it. Of course, totally included in the Academy, right? I had kept it very quiet, but it was released exactly today by Grandmaster Tomas Sosa, 10 Advanced Chess Concepts. There are 10 meticulously selected classes so that you can verify that logically chess can reach a very high level, okay? Tomas has explained it in a spectacular. All of this is included in the Academy. You see it in Spanish, okay, but it is also available in English. You already know that the Academy is available in both Spanish and English, okay? This course is 100% included in the Academy. Just like the classes from Julia's course, right? On basic fundamentals, which are spectacular classes, also in Spanish and English like everything else, like Flavia's classes. Look at how many classes we have here, Huff. We can see many more classes, okay? And logically, apart from all these classes which are spectacular, you also have access included to Chessmind, huh? With everything unlocked, which is the best application to be able to study your openings? Look at how fun this is. For example, come on, I want to learn how to defeat the French. Well, you go in here, right? And for example, well, you click on practice the main lines, right? I practice them a little bit. When I already know them by heart, well, I move on to the next one, right? Very good. Afterwards, you can review the next line, and that way, well, keep practicing, right? And for most openings too, these are the openings, and for most openings, well, what you can do is even practice by playing it. For example, let's see, Catalan opening. This one actually includes video. You could, for example, practice it, right? Here you have many more languages. Well, you also have, of course, middle game, end games. I really like, for example, practicing end games because you can practice them here. Look, I want to practice a pawn end game that I'm really bad at, so I practice it, right? This works well for me. It doesn't go here, but it tells me to advance this one. Then win the opposition. Well, you already know that all of this is included within the academy, but the good thing is that now you have a spectacular discount because of this, let's say, this course we just added by Grandmaster Tomas Sosa, where you can see here what the classes are like, yeah? I'm going to put it here for a moment so you can see exactly what it's like, okay? Tomas explains it perfectly. You're going to see that he's a grandmaster with over 2,500 ELO points. Well, this is getting out of hand, right, friends? The idea is that now, if you use the link in the description, and only if you use the link in the description, friends, because otherwise it won't work for you, you're going to get a 25% discount, but it's not just that you're going to get a 25% discount. Look, you're going to get a 25% discount on all plans, and it's forever. Let me explain. Check this out. I'll put it in euros now, okay? I have it in Spanish, but it's the same in other languages, okay? You sign up, for example, now with the 25% discount. Instead of 49 euros, you'll be paying 36. But not just this month. The discount is forever. You gotta keep it forever. So it's a golden opportunity to get in now at an exclusive price. For example, look, if you want to pay for the whole year, we go from 399 euros to 299. That's 100 euros in savings. This would come out to just 24 euros a month. I assure you, it's a golden opportunity. If you want to try it out, I'll leave it in the description. You know, friends, and if you didn't know, I'm telling you now, you can join the academy for just €1 or $1 for 7 days to try it out, okay? And get to studying. Yes, after those 7 days, you would then transition over. Oh, and I'm going to give you another surprise. If you're soaking up everything I'm explaining to you, you're going to love this. Starting tomorrow or the day after, in the next few days, I'm going to add giveaways. We've already got the first giveaway set up, which will be added in the next 2 or 3 days. These boards that I use are spectacular, worth over $300 or $400, and they will be raffled off exclusively for Academy students, and it's completely free to participate. You already know that inside the Academy, you have everything included. Well, there are going to be recurring giveaways, not just this one, and the first one will be available soon. It will probably even be available to enter by the time you join. All right, I'll leave it for you down here in the description. Take a look, because it's worth it. Let's continue with the video. Don't be such a pain, chess teacher. Let's see how Zuckertort manages to win here against the cat while down a knight, right? What a bore. Come on, knight to c6. Look, the player with the white pieces probably wants to play the bishop to d3. Many of you might think this square doesn't make sense because it blocks the queen's pawn. Correct, but what we want is to summon our pieces toward the king side. That's what we wanted, right? So here, since this bishop has come out to the square, let's say b2, there's no longer a need to move this d-pawn to develop it. Now then, if we play bishop to d3, watch out, they would attack our bishop. At this moment, giving check wouldn't be very useful either because we would be helping black trade pieces. Do you remember that black wanted to trade pieces? Exactly. So we don't want to play bishop to d3, but rather a3 first, prophylaxis, one of the 10 concepts that Tomas is going to teach or is already teaching at the academy to prevent this knight jump. And now, yes, after this, a6, bishop to d3. Well, this a6 is a really weak move. I'm going to explain why. Very simple. Probably they want to avoid this, let's say, this bishop pin. But the thing is, this bishop pin, first of all, doesn't do anything. And second, I don't care if you pin my knight and trade pieces because I want you to trade pieces, right? Because I have logically extra material. That's why this A6 doesn't make much sense. Well, bishop d3, bishop d6, a very good move. Bishop e7 would also be possible, without a doubt. Queen e2. What for? To castle queenside, my friends. Logical. This is an opposite side castling pattern. Did you know the opposite side castling pattern? Who always wins in opposite side castling? The one who gets to the attack first. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if we're down material. That's why it's very interesting in this case, as you can see, to castle queenside, because we know the opponent is going to castle kingside. Kingside castle. Could we castle queenside? Yes, but here the white player uses a very, very, very aggressive move, but a very forceful and good one. Why is this g4 move so good if you're giving away the pawn? Well, the idea is that if you avoid me and don't take the pawn, I'm going to advance. I'm going to advance. I'm playing with my left hand and it's a bit difficult for me. I'm going to advance and this knight is going to have to retreat. You can't play this against me because you're going to create breakpoints right here on g5 and this is going to benefit me a lot. You see it, right? So what do you have to do? Well, practically, you're forced to take the pawn. Notice that black has taken a piece and a pawn in exchange for nothing. However, what white has achieved is opening the file to attack the king with all their pieces. And after queen g2, as you can see, logically, this knight has to be careful. It can't move just anywhere because we would deliver checkmate. This is the power of having your pieces well coordinated. It has to come to f6 to block the bishop. However, as you can see, we have the dark squared bishop attacking and the light squared one as well. The queen is going to come, the rook, so I don't castle long and the other rook comes. The knight can jump, the h-pawn can go and threaten. Even though we are down a piece, we can see that the energy of the white pieces is infinitely superior to that of the black pieces, and this is what is called initiative. White continues with h4. They want to go all out. h6 to try to prevent this advance. However, after this h6, the white player takes the opportunity to play h5, a very smart move. I'll explain why, because it's very simple. The weak point for black is the g7 square, because it's a backward pawn, meaning it can't be advanced because we just fixed it in place. This is called fixing a weakness, because this pawn can no longer advance. And why is it a weakness? First, because it's only defended by the king, and second, because it's on a semi-open file and we can attack it head on. Any backward pawn that can be attacked head on is a potential weakness, if not an outright weakness. Therefore, notice that this pawn is going to have a relatively hard time, or a very hard time, because the rook is also going to come, the bishop of course also helps, and we'll see how it ends up, logically threatening this right here. The king moves aside, logically, to get out of the x-rays. Who knows if they might end up losing the knight, for example. Long castle to bring the other rook into the attack. Notice the difference in the attack between white and black. Black is up a piece, but they have no attack. Mind you, if we don't manage to capitalize on that advantage, that is, if we don't manage to deliver checkmate or win a lot of material, in the long run, black will be better off because they're up a piece. The knight retreats to the e8 square, a starting square, so it can defend the g7 point from there. Notice that black has opted for a defensive strategy. The knight from e8 defends g7, the rook from g8 is also going to defend g7, and who knows if the bishop might come too. And all of them together defend the weakness, although I don't know if it's going to be enough. The other rook joins the attack, as we were saying, rook to g8 to defend. And now, here is a wonderful move that if you want to study it, you can try pausing the video. Although I highly doubt that if you don't know this game, you'll find this move, because it's impressive and very difficult. So I'm going to say it right now. If you haven't paused the video, I'm going to say it. Bishop to h7. What a move. Freds, why bishop to h7? Well, obviously, the bishop, well, not obviously in hindsight, knowing what happens, right? The bishop cannot be captured, and I'm going to explain why. If the bishop is captured, it'll lead to checkmate. And the checkmate would come by way of a wonderful move, a queen sacrifice right here. Queen to g6, check. If the king moves away, the mate comes right here, taking advantage of the pin on the bishop. Do you see it? If the king doesn't move away, but instead captures the queen, which at first glance is free, pawn takes pawn check, the pawn is well defended by the rook, the king moves away, and rook takes h6 as mate, again taking advantage of the pin. Spectacular, or isn't it, friends? This is Oscar-worthy, right? Let's see, I'm going to set this up properly. So we reach the conclusion that after this bishop to h7, the bishop cannot be captured. If it is captured, it's checkmate with the queen sacrifice. Incredible, right? But hey, you might say, I'll just not capture the bishop and stay cool, right? Obviously, moving the rook doesn't seem like the best option. Why? Because then checkmate would come on g7. We are attacking here with too many pieces, and therefore, no, it's not logical to stop defending this point. Black's reasoning, which is very good, says, well, I'm up material, I'll sacrifice the exchange here, it's no big deal, and I'll block the bishop's action from the long diagonal. No, the long diagonal, because it's the longest diagonal on the board, that's why it's called that. Geez, chess teacher, you're on fire today. And White did the following. Whoa, 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 I'm on fire. Relax, take it down a notch, chess teacher. This game is driving me crazy. He takes the rook. And now not just to take the rook, but to get the queen in. And what is being threatened at this moment? Queen takes h6, taking advantage of the pin. Look at how the activity of the pieces is being taken advantage of, huh? The king moves aside to be able to defend, let's say this point to get away from the pins. But now, another spectacular move by Zukertort, this knight to g5. A double gift, because it can be taken with the f pawn and it can be taken with the h pawn. In the game, it was taken with the f pawn. Pawn. If it's taken with the f pawn, White could simply follow up with queen takes h6, taking advantage of the bishop's pin. That is why, in this case, it is captured with the h-pawn. Look at this. White has captured a rook, and Black, look, bishop, knight, pawn, and knight. A massive material advantage, but a massive advantage for the white pieces in terms of the game, because they are going to win with checkmate. The king is on death row. You're going to see why. Pawn takes pawn. The knight returns and attacks the queen. Look, another spectacular move. It gives me goosebumps. The queen is sacrificed with pawn takes pawn. And why, chess teacher? Because now, first of all, you must accept the queen, because if not, I'm going to eat you right here on g7 with all the pieces. You must take the queen. And now, with cold blood, this checkmate is delivered with a death row. You're going to see how. Pawn takes pawn. Check with the rook, the king escapes. Many of you would be tempted to play f7, which would be a very serious mistake because the king escapes. No matter how much the rook comes to 8-8, the king escapes. You see, we can't play f7 check because we are down a lot of material. And even if we lose a knight, let's say with the black pieces, we would still be at a material advantage. But the correct move is, bam, rook h8, rook sacrifice. And when it's taken because there's no other move, now, yes, f7. And the king is on death row because he can't move. He's simply in his cell, waiting to be condemned with this rook h1. Checkmate. First of all, can't you block, for example, with the queen? No, because then I capture the knight, promote to a queen, and deliver checkmate. Can I block with the bishop, for example? No, because the bishop is defending the promotion of this pawn, and if the bishop moves, I promote to a queen and also deliver checkmate. Therefore, he's on death row here. Friends, I assure you, it's worth it. Try the Academy for €1 or $1. You have it in the description. These days, it's only going to last for these launch days, 25% off forever. This is your chance. Otherwise, logically, the Academy will return to its normal price in the coming days. You're going to keep it forever. It's worth it, friends. I hope you loved this video. Leave a big like, join the Academy. Come on, I'll be waiting with open arms. We'll be waiting for you because it's the definitive project to improve our chess level. I hope you loved it, and we'll see you in the next one, friends. Goodbye.